In Japan, where major private railways are concentrated in metropolitan areas and electric railways developed early on, there were few opportunities for full-fledged internal combustion railcars to operate. Amid this landscape, Meitetsu, Nagoya Railroad, stood out as a rare case by adopting internal combustion railcars that rivaled those of junior, Japanese national railways, and operating limited express services that ran directly onto junior lines. Meitetsu had experience operating tourist trains to hot spring resorts along the Tokoyama Main Line even before World War II. Anticipating increased demand from the post-war tourism boom driven by economic growth, the company introduced full-fledged new services that connected directly to junior lines. The Tokoyama Main Line itself had seen the operation of new semi-express services since 1958, when such services began expanding nationwide. With the introduction of the Kihara 58 series, further modernization progressed. To match or exceed these standards, Meitetsu introduced the 8000 series railcars in 1965, equipped with facilities suitable for tourist trains. At the time, the Kihara 82 and Kihara 58 were the standard for JNR's premium diesel railcars. Although the 8000 series was intended for semi-express use, its passenger amenities were on par with those of JNR's limited express DMUs. Even the second-class cars featured convertible cross seats, setting them apart from JNR's express DMUs. Because the 8000 series was designed with limited express-level amenities, it naturally included air conditioning equipment. From JNR's perspective at the time, air conditioning in ordinary cars of semi-express services was unthinkable. The passenger windows, though supported by narrow pillars, formed a continuous glass surface, creating an open design not found in junior DMUs. Regarding running gear, developing a new system for a single train set was not cost-effective, so the 8000 series was built based on junior DMUs. Its basic performance matched that of the Kihara 58 and Kihara 28 series. However, Meitetsu had smaller vehicle clearance limits than junior, resulting in narrower and shorter car bodies. Junior DMUs of the time struggled to accommodate underfloor equipment, often extending car lengths beyond the nominal 20 meters and maximizing body width to the clearance limit. Even then, fitting two engines was difficult, requiring creative solutions such as placing water tanks on the roof. Fitting equipment that was already challenging under JNR's clearance limits into Meitetsu's more restrictive envelope was even harder. Ultimately, the radiator was installed on the floor behind the entrance platform. Although the machinery room was more compact than that of the Kihara 82, a reduction in seating capacity was unavoidable. To secure power for air conditioning, both first-class and second-class leading cars were equipped with one traction engine and one power supply engine just like the Kihara 82. The same configuration applied to the first-class middle bogie cars, while only the second-class middle bogie cars featured two traction engines. Despite being intended for semi-express use, the 8000 series DMUs boasted exceptional passenger amenities. Surprisingly, the bogies used coil springs, the same as the Kihara 58. Since high-speed operation was not required on the designated lines, the design prioritized cost efficiency. The front-end design was a hybrid of the Kihara 82 and Kihara 58. Although expensive curved glass was not used, flat glass panels were joined to provide a wide field of view. The front windows were set at a greater retreat angle than those of the Kihara 58, resulting in a distinctive appearance. In 1965, the 8000 series entered revenue service as the semi-express Tokoyama, connecting Jingume and Tokoyama. Its innovative design was highly praised, earning the Blue Ribbon Award from the Railway Friends Society that same year, and it gained attention as a deluxe semi-express. However, the following year, due to JNR's revenue-boosting measures amid financial difficulties, the service was reclassified from a semi-express to an express. Even so, the express train, equipped with facilities equivalent to those of a limited express, remained popular. Its operating section was extended to Hida Furukawa, and during peak tourist seasons, reserved seats were often fully booked. In 1970, the Tateyama-Kurobe Alpine route opened, a scenic tourism corridor centered around the Northern Alps and the Kurobe Dam. Riding the wave of the tourism boom, the travel industry flourished. For Meitetsu, which had long sought expansion into the Hokuriku region, this was a golden opportunity. In cooperation with Toyama Chihu Railway, Meitetsu extended the operating section to Tateyama Station, the Toyama side gateway to the Alpine route. However, this posed challenges in terms of vehicle performance. The Tateyama line features continuous ascending gradients, and even Toyama-Chihu Railway's EMUs typically operate in all-motor, all-M formations. The planned 3-car formation for Meitetsu's 8000 series consisted of 2 single-engine cars and 1 dual-engine car, resulting in a configuration with insufficient tractive effort for the steep grades. To address this, Meitetsu introduced the Kihara 8200, equipped with 2 Hall engines. To ensure power supply even in short formations, the Kihara 8200 was also fitted with a 4 VK generator set. Its basic structure followed the existing design rather than adopting the newly produced Junior Kihara 65 derivative, likely prioritizing stability and cost over innovation. Fitting 3 engines into the car body required more than just relocating the radiator to the floor above the bogie. The car body was extended still shorter than the Kihara 58, but the longest among Meitetsu vehicles at the time. To avoid exceeding the vehicle clearance limits on curves, the body width was further narrowed. Due to the inclusion of a lavatory, seating capacity was reduced compared to the Kihara 8000, resulting in a more cramped interior. The train was named Kita Alps, and although it operated as a seasonal service, it was a rare train that ran across the networks of Meitetsu, Junior, and Toyama-Chihu Railway. JNR was also actively modernizing the Tokoyama Main Line, and the Limited Express, HIDA, using the Kihara 82 was already in operation. As a result, the Kita Alps no longer held an advantage in terms of onboard facilities. However, passengers could still enjoy limited express-level air-conditioned cars at express fare rates, a continued benefit that sustained its appeal. Faced with mounting deficits, JNR avoided fare increases that required complex diet deliberations. Instead, it sought to boost revenue by upgrading express services to limited express status, thereby collecting limited express surcharges. Amid this wave of reclassification, the Kita Alps was also elevated to a limited express in 1976. With limited express status came expectations of prestige. Although the onboard facilities were already on par with limited express standards, the exterior still retained an express-style appearance, which disrupted the overall balancing speed of presentation. To address this, the livery was revised to resemble the Kihara 82 series. A front-end belt was added, and the side paint scheme was made similar to that of the Kihara 82. This resulted in a style akin to a pseudo-82, significantly altering the original atmosphere of the train, an aesthetic shift that likely drew mixed reactions. Curiously, the color scheme remained that of an express, rather than adopting JNR's limited express colors. Thus rebranded, the train continued to serve tourism transport as a limited express. Within Toyama-Chihu Railway's network, it occasionally operated between Tateyama and Unezuki, demonstrating the mobility of DMUs. However, the formation of 2 dual-engine cars and 1 single-engine car proved underpowered on steep gradients, where the performance gap with EMUs became evident. Among drivers, this configuration was reportedly unpopular due to its poor performance. On the Tokoyama Main Line, however, there was no significant performance gap with other trains. JNR's own stagnation meant that modernization had not progressed, and no major disparities emerged among DMUs. In contrast, the Chuo West Line, also a mountainous route, pursued aggressive speed enhancements through electrification and the introduction of tilting EMUs following the deployment of the high-powered new 181 series. Although proposals were made to introduce surplus 181 series units or electrify the Tokoyama line, both plans were abandoned due to opposition from field staff troubled by frequent 181 series failures and the lack of financial viability. The Kihara 91, plagued by breakdowns and nicknamed the Delinquent Son, was eventually deployed, but not for speed enhancement. The line remained disconnected from any real high-speed development for a long time. Meanwhile, the Hokuriku Main Line offered shorter travel times, and improved road infrastructure led to a rapid decline in passenger numbers on the Tokoyama line. Even the once popular Kita Alps tourist train began to fade from its peak glory. After JNR's privatization and the introduction of the Kihara 85, the gap in facilities and performance widened significantly. In response, Meitetsu introduced the Kihara 8500 series, a derivative of the Kihara 85. Thus, the 8000 series DMUs, which had evolved from a deluxe semi-express to a pseudo-82, reached the end of their journey.